Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Break Time Conversations, a YouTube channel where I have conversations around education. I have been a teacher all my life, and education fascinates me. Along my journey, I have met so many interesting and inspiring people, and so I decided to document my conversations with them here so that you too can hear their stories and the amazing work that they do. I'm here today with the charming Naomi Oliver. She's principal at Wheaton International School in Siliguri, West Bengal. This is her 11th year in educational leadership. She's had various leadership experiences, but the one thing that will never change is that she will always be a teacher at heart. I love that, Naomi, because I also keep saying the same. When not in school, she does a lot of writing in the form of poetry. In fact, she even has a YouTube channel where she puts out some of her pieces for those who love poetry. She also sets an example to her students and teachers that we should never stop learning by being a lifelong learner herself. Naomi, so lovely to have you here with me. Thank you for being here. So
Yeah,
let's start off our conversation by you telling us about your journey as an educator. Tell us how you got started and what all you've done and how far you've come.
sure. So my journey as a teacher started many years ago. And I distinctly remember I was in grade 12 and was working as a part-time educator in a preschool. Initially, as a teenager, it was all about, dressing up and pretending to take responsibility of my life. But as time passed, I began to realize teaching was not just a job for me. It had become so much more than that. I witnessed the impact I had on these little minds. And thereafter, I decided this is what I'm going to do. This is what I'm called for. So my journey began at the age of 17. And that's when I realized, like I said, this is what I want to do to make a difference in the world, through the field of education. As I moved forward, I continued teaching in various CBSE and IB schools. With experience, grew my leadership skills. I was promoted to be a coordinator, lead the English department in a well-reputed IB school, and teach teachers, like train teachers through PD sessions and all of those things. And much more opportunities came my way, and I think I did justice to them by learning and growing in my experience. I'm currently heading Wheaton International, as you'd mentioned earlier, and I still feel it's just the beginning. There is so much more that I want to learn and so much more that I want to do. Yeah.
Wow, that sounds amazing. I have a similar experience. I was around 17 as well when I decided that, I would like to be a teacher. So that's awesome, Naomi. So, if you should characterize a great principal, since you're in leadership, I'm asking you this question. So, if you should characterize a great school principal with three words, which words would you choose?
Well, firstly, I think a good principal, a great principal should be a visionary, someone who has a clear vision of what they want to achieve or what goals they want to set for themselves as well as for the institution they're in. A continuous learner, for sure. That is, part of the visionary aspect that I'm talking about. And then the second thing that I feel a principal should, have is the heart to empower others, seeing greatness in others and making sure that, that you bring that out in that person. And lastly, to be accessible, connected to your students, connected to your teachers, know them well, know what's going on. This is what I like to do. I don't like to stay in my office. I like to get out of my room, and I like to go in the class. I like to teach. I take classes alongside. I want to feel connected to my children, to the students, as well as to the teachers. So I know where we need to adapt, where things need to be changed or modified. So I feel these are three qualities that one should have as a leader, not just a principal in any area.
I love that. I love that being accessible. That's beautiful. Um, so, in your experience, can you tell us about how schools can develop a learning program that can help students identify their strengths? I think these days everything is also academic oriented that we forget to look at the child or the children. So, how can a school develop such a program?
Right. I mean, what a wonderful question, Anupa. And I love telling this to teachers I come across and principals. Social emotional learning is key to identifying strengths and weaknesses of children. And by weaknesses I mean places where they need help, and we can look at and help them out, help them overcome those. So I think some of the things that we can keep in mind, especially in our classrooms, is to help set goals. Now, I've seen teachers do that many a times. Setting goals is not that difficult. We can ask children to set goals pertaining to their strengths, but keeping a regular check on what whether they are meeting those goals, how much have they progressed, that is also very important. Another thing to keep in mind is to refer back to students' strengths during feedback. Whenever a teacher is giving feedback to the students, we have to keep in mind that we need to tell the child what they've done good and how they can work on it to make it better. So that is something. Another thing is to promote differential learning, and I've said that multiple times. When I look at children, their learning style is, every child's learning style is different, and we need to keep that in mind as leaders, as facilitators, as teachers. We need to plan tasks that cater to every child's learning need. So yeah, that's something I believe in, and I always tell my teachers, and I always tell people I come across, educators I come across. This is something that we need to promote in our classrooms.
That's beautiful. And I think it's so important for the leader herself or himself to set the tone, to lead the way, because otherwise, I don't think it'll work otherwise. So, Naomi, you seem so young. So, what plans do you have for the future? Say 10 years from now, what do you think? Where do you see yourself?
Like I mentioned earlier, since the start of my career, I've had my ideal career path in mind. And my ideal career is where my ideas are heard and in which I'm making a real impact. And here, I mean, as an educator, as a principal, like I said, I'm a teacher at heart. So this is where I know I'm making an impact, this field. And in the next 10 years, I hope to advance in my role as much as possible. I see myself being even more confident in this field with more knowledge and experience, and really making a difference, touching lives through education, because I think that is the future.
That's so wonderful to hear, and all the best to you as you progress and as you go forward as a leader. And may you touch many more lives, and may you discover more strengths in the children that you interact with. And you sound wonderful, Naomi, and I'd love to visit your school and see what you do. And if ever you
You're
come to
most
Bangalore,
welcome.
and please come and visit me in Bangalore sometime. Thank
For
you
sure.
so much once again, and hope to meet you soon sometime.
Absolutely.
Okay,
Thank you.
bye
It
for
was,
now, Naomi.
bye bye. Thank you so much, Anupa.
You're welcome.